In terms of Lavia, obviously, you know a lot about him, having been a City boy. Do you think he's got the ability to go into Arsenal and maybe not straight away, but over the next 2, 3, 4 years, become a real integral part of their team? Is he someone you would like to see City buy back and stop Arsenal from getting him?
Yeah, we've got a buyback in 2024. If Arsenal don't get him this season, then we can get him next. I think we've got option to match whoever's bid, and we've got a sell-on clause on him. I think Romeo's a great player. I think he does get injured a lot, but he just wasn't quite ready for us in the title race. This is the difference. We had to go out and get a Calvin Phillips who didn't work out, but we couldn't trust Romeo to be the backup to Rodri. But then it's mad how Arsenal now think, we can get Romeo Lavia in, and he's definitely got to leave Southampton because obviously he's good enough to play in the Prem. But he'd be a great signing for the right money, but I don't think he's instantly going to change Arsenal. I think 2 or 3 years working behind a Declan Rice in the midfield, I think you've got a hell of a player on your hands. And that's why, he could do the same with him at City. City should have really got him back and said, look, come and shadow Rodri and maybe Kovacic for another couple of years. But depends on Romeo if he wants to play. He might feel like going to Arsenal. He can get in there. He's a good player, man. He's a good player, but we're in a win-win with him. We're buying back. We've won. If we let him go Arsenal, we get 25% or whatever. We've done all right.
Yeah, it's certainly going to be an interesting one with him. I rate him a lot. He's almost one of those players that, again, I kind of want Man United to go in for him because our rivals are. But preferably, I'd have liked to have watched him for one more year. I'd love him to have stayed at SAP just one more year to see what he's all about, as opposed to jumping straight into him. But yeah, it looks like Arsenal are leading that race right now. Ninos here. I hope you're well, bro. He says Arteta can buy whoever he likes, but no Premier League or Champions League trophy this season. He needs to go. The whole lot of them need to go. I understand that. Does context not matter? You finish second to City. City get 95 points. You get 94. Or you get to a Champions League final and narrowly get beat by a brilliant team. Would you want to undo all of that at the risk of maybe getting backwards with a new manager? Shouldn't it also depend on who's available that summer? I get where you're coming from. I think as a general rule, you're right, but you have to contextualize it, surely. If there's no better managers available and he's very close, you wouldn't want to just rock the apple cart and get rid of him. By the way, if you're just in a top 4 race and you don't challenge for the title and you go out in the quarterfinals of the Champions League, I get it. And I don't know about you, Steve. I feel like this Havertz deal is very risky for Arteta because if he flops and Arsenal don't win anything, the knives will be out, won't they?
Well, listen, Gabriel Jesus came last season. First part of the season, they were all for him. Towards the end of the season, they were starting to say he's not good enough, and people were saying, he's not going to be that man. He's not going to fire us to the title. We need to get a 25-goal striker in this, that, and the other. So the Arsenal fans, they're very, they're not as forgiving. They're not as patient as they should be. And Havertz has had Chelsea fans. They've been like not really over the moon with him. So to get him to come to Arsenal, there's a lot of pressure on the kid. If he hits the ground running and he's a superstar, then all's forgotten and he'll be a hero at Arsenal. If he has a couple of stinky games and the knives will be out for him early doors, and that's just the way it is with him because he came to the Premier League with a big reputation and he scored the winner in the Champions League final against us. But other than that, what's he done? You know what I mean? Let's have a look at him. What's he done? Nothing. So it is a risk, and you got to trust your manager. He deserves that after what he did last season. Trust him. But I feel like he's on a very, very fine slate of ice this season, and I think the Arsenal fans, it's touch and go. They've got to win something next season. If they don't, then they'll be calling for his head. I'm telling you now, they will be.
I agree. With the Qataris coming, you should be afraid, Steve, is what little Tim says to you here.
Well, listen, it's about time that our poor neighbours in Manchester got some money and fixed the roof and that, So we know we welcome the challenge now. You know what I mean? European champions, treble winners, and you got a Carabao Cup and a bucket hat. So the Qataris need to pull a finger out.
You should be. They are a little bit scared. They're a little worried. On a real level, everyone would be worried if Man United got back Man United become one of the best teams in the world.
The thing is, Terry, what you've got to realise is,
yeah,
Man United have spent more money than us. Yeah,
I agree. Yep.
They've spent 1.5 billion to try and win the Premier League without Fergie and not done it. So this argument about money and all that, yeah, Man City spent money, but it's been money well spent. Look at the club from top to bottom. Look at the infrastructure; it's all working. Man United have got a lot of money and spend a lot of money, but the infrastructure ain't working. So when people say you should be scared of the Qataris with the money, they already spend money. So I don't think anyone's bothered about the money. What the Qataris need to do is they need to bring the infrastructure in. They need to build the supply chain from the top all the way down to the bottom, and they need to bring footballing men in that can make footballing decisions, ruthless decisions, and get Man United to be in one of the most ruthless and best run clubs in the world. Because at the minute, they're a massive club. It's like having a massive ocean liner in the ocean, and it's just floating around and doesn't know where it's going. And then you've got smaller clubs who have got a great captain and they know where the destination is and they get there. United at the minute don't know where they're going. So what the Qataris will bring is a bit of stability. They'll bring infrastructure, they'll bring facilities, they'll improve everything. And it's not going to be a quick fix. If it's just a case of throwing money at it, then Chelsea would be up there. United would have won a Champions League now, 1.5 billion in. But United's model is not working. Whether Man United fans want to hear that or not, the model at the minute at Old Trafford doesn't work. These boys come in, the businessmen, they're ruthless, the oil people, they get shit done, and that's what they're going to bring to Man United. And it's the infrastructure that will get Man United where it is. It won't be the money thrown at mediocre players, because they can throw money at mediocre players for another 10 years and not win the Premier League like they've done. It's the take a step back. What do we need to do? Get Man United up there. Get football people in. We got directors of football in Tixi and Ferran. They were the best bits of business Manchester City ever did. Not the superstar signings, them two. And that's what Qatar need to do. Bring 2 or 3 in, connect all the dots, and then bang. That's when I'll be worried about Man United.
I couldn't agree with you more. And it's why whenever I'm complaining, it's why I want to go on TalkSport. I'll do it free of charge and ruin Simon Jordan, because all I ever hear him talk about is Man United fans are moaning, but they already spend money. So what's money the issue of? They get the wrong Man United representation on there that never go to town and school them. It's nothing to do with the money. Us having even more money will be an advantage, but not because of the money, but because I believe the Qataris will create a brilliant infrastructure, and that's the problem. There was a rival fan I quote tweeted earlier on today, and I think he thought he did something. I'm going to find the tweet again now, and it just goes back to this for a moment. And he turned around and said, obviously we're linked to it was all to do with Mason Mount. And he tweeted something, and he might have deleted his tweet, that's why I can't find it. Where's it gone? Okay, there it is. He said, Man United's biggest problem has never actually been their owners. It's the football people they employ. Yeah. Which is done by the owners, which is the thing. And it's that bit, that little nugget there is what is always missing when it comes to these conversations. I've sat there and listened to the biggest names in football discuss the club, barring Gary Neville. They never go into, yeah, but the manager did a bad job and the players they bought were poor. Yes, and who's signing off on all those decisions? It's the infrastructure that's created by the owners. So I completely agree with you there.